Gas prices may still be pretty cheap, but General Motors is future-proofing its lineup with a couple of new electrified vehicles, including the 2016 Chevrolet Volt and the Bolt battery-powered EV concept. Mark Royce is the Vice President of Global Product Development, something like that.
Yeah, right, whatever.
Let's talk about the Volt first.
Sure.
Original Volt, well received by its customers.
Yep.
Really was a breakthrough vehicle for the time. Never lived up to those initial sales expectations. What have you done with the new vehicle to try to broaden its appeal?
Well, I think the important point here is that the customer base there is one of the most satisfied in the industry, if not the most satisfied in the industry, according to what we look at here from an external standpoint. So we take those customers that are basically new to GM, very much new to Chevrolet, and we ask them, what would you like to see improved in the next generation of the car? They say, the electric range needs to improve, so we improved that by about 30% here. So right in the 50 range here, and then the total range becomes around over 400 miles. That's a big deal. The original gas engine that required premium fuel now doesn't, and so there's a good cost advantage there. And then we took upwards of $10,000 out of the cost of the actual material on the batteries and the architecture and the actual vehicle. So you're going to see a different price relationship there for what you get. And we're putting a lot of money into what the customer sees and touches in the interior of the car. So you get something that is a 5-passenger car now. You get something that is very dramatic from a design standpoint, yet very elegant from the interior. So a lot of really neat things that we really addressed, all the things that Volt customers say they really expect and want in the next car.
You originally, back in 2011, were hoping to sell 60,000 of these a year. Have you changed your expectations for the second generation, or do you think it can still be a big volume car?
I'm not sure that we're after a big volume car here, other than, we know over time electrification is going to be a major part of the car buying public. And so we want to be part of that. We want to lead with cars like this and be known for leading. So the volume piece of this is really going to be dependent on removing those barriers of buying an electrified car, and that's what we focused on. So we know this will be much a larger acceptance. How much, the market changes all the time, so it's very tough to call volume on it.
The Volt addresses range anxiety by having that extended range engine. This here, the Bolt, addresses it by just having more battery power and a longer range, 200 miles per charge.
That's right. That's a groundbreaking formula of price, right around $30,000, and then 200 miles plus. That's a huge factor. And that it does eliminate the range anxiety piece of it, but you still have the Volt there that you can actually drive across the whole country without charging it up, or you can not charge it up ever. This car, pure electric, you got to charge it up to use it, but the cost and the price of entry into this with that kind of range, you're going to be way beyond most people's driving cycle every day. So that's a very, very, very game-changing technology.
You aiming for a $30,000 sticker price, or once you factor in the incentives and all that?
Well, I don't know. We got to look at exactly what the incentives are when we introduce the car here, so we'll see. But it'll be right around $30,000.
This has about twice the range of compacts in that class right now.
Yes, it does.
How were you able to do that besides making the battery pack?
Yeah, I think the car is really key here because again we got a really impressive battery and energy density in the battery. But we've got a package here and a car here that is really optimized around electrification. So from a mass standpoint, we've got things like thin seats. We've heard about thin seats like my whole career as an engineer in the auto industry. We're actually taking and designing our own seat architecture for these cars. So a big part of this is mass and seats. The seats are very expensive. They're very mass intensive. We've done some things that are remarkable there. And then also some of the structure, you're going to see mixed material approach here as well, but not all aluminum or all carbon fiber or all, that's not our approach. We have a very sophisticated set of math models that we use to design these cars, and you're going to see some great things in the Bolt.
This is a concept. We are going to see something like it in production when?
You're putting me on the spot here, but over the next year and a half, you'll see it in production.
Do you think this is a car that has the stuff to compete with premium electrified cars like the BMW i3 and the Tesla Model 3 that's on the way?
Well, I absolutely do. And if you look at the execution of this, it's very high-end, but very affordable. And that's what Chevrolet is all about. Find new roads, new technology, new design, unexpected value. I think we can do that better than anybody else in the world.
Electric efficient cars here, but I got to ask you something else. Your friends over at Ford just unveiled the new Ford GT supercar. Folks at Acura, the new NSX. There's been talk that maybe you guys are thinking about doing a mid-engine supercar. In fact, some pictures were put on the internet last week of a prototype that was going around that looked like that. Is this something GM's going to be doing in the near future?
I think stay tuned, but the brand sells more performance cars than anybody else in the world. We're known for surprises too. Take the Z28, take the new C7, the Z06. Those are amazing values for the horsepower and performance that they put out. So look for more of that type of formula from Chevrolet in the future.